My name is Tashina Woods, and this is my internship presentation. I was an intern in the spring semester for the Family Crisis Center, and I have learned so much here, and I am so excited to tell you about what I have done. It really is a great place. So how did I arrange and find my internship? First, I talked to Brother McCoy. He was the internship coordinator when I was setting it up, and I asked him different places about where I could go to do my internship, and he gave me a list of different places that I could go, and the Family Crisis Center was the place that I chose to take my resume in and to apply. So I took my resume into the Crisis Center and I gave it to them, and I told them that I wanted to intern there. And then I had to follow up by calling them. I had to call a couple of times. We kind of played phone tag. And then finally I was able to go there. And they interviewed me, and they decided that they wanted me to be an intern. So after that, I went through the steps through the school to get that approved and everything. And that is how I found it. There in the picture you can see cans of food, and that is one of the things that we do there at the internship. We collect food for families who are in need, and we distribute it every Wednesday at the food bank, or clients can come in and they can get as much food as they need for a family per member. So that is one great thing that we do at the internship. Don't be afraid about trying to find an internship. There are many people who are out there that can help you find an internship, and it's probably easier than you think. I was kind of worried about it to begin with, but after finding it and arranging it, it all worked out, and I was really happy that I was able to stay in Rexburg in my own community and to serve the people there. It's a great thing to be able to serve in your own community and see your efforts. So what were my responsibilities in the internship? I had a lot of responsibilities that I was given. One of the responsibilities was to answer the phone each day as we sat at the front desk. If the phone ever rang, then it was our responsibility to answer it. And we were responsible to help the people who called in. There were many people who called in who said, my daughter was just arrested for meth and she has a 10-month-old son. I need to put a protection order against her son. And then either we as interns could help them, or we could direct them to one of the employees at the crisis center and they could help them. So that was one of my responsibilities. Another responsibility was to organize and prepare the food for the food bank each Wednesday. We get donations from Albertsons and Brolams each Monday and Wednesday, and on Wednesday the families come who are in need of food every Wednesday, and they collect the food. So it was my responsibility to fill boxes of food for them, for the families, depending on how many people were in their family. Another responsibility was to organize donations that we got for the thrift store. There were a ton of donations each week, and it was our responsibility to organize and to shelf those things and to sell them as people came in to the thrift store. Other responsibilities that didn't happen on a weekly basis but did happen is we handed out coupons and flyers at different events like the 4th of July parade and the women's fair that was back in May, I believe. So those were just some of the responsibilities. How did I benefit the site I served at? I feel like through the responsibilities that I just discussed in the last slide, and doing those things and fulfilling those goals and responsibilities, that is how I benefited the site I served at. I tried my best to get out there and be a part of the community and the things that the Crisis Center was in charge of. We went to the hospital one day back in April, and we did a teddy bear clinic where we taught students in the elementary schools about how you can stand up for yourself, and that you can know good from bad. And if there is bad in your home, to be aware of that and to report it to a teacher or a parent or a friend. So that is how I benefited the site, is going out there and being a part of things and serving and to step up and to make a difference. I feel that I helped clients along the way. If they called in, I tried my best to help them, to give them advice, to give them help, as much as I knew how I could. And there were also times when clients would call in and say, I need help, please come help me, come get me out of this bad situation. And so another intern and I would get in our car and we would drive over to where they are, and we would get them and take them out of that bad situation. So I feel that I really benefited the site that I served at by doing my part, standing up and not just sitting back and watching everyone else do the work, but doing work myself and really caring about the people that needed help, because there are a lot of people in our community who need our help, and if we're not there for them, then who's going to help them? So, and we can benefit by doing our part. How did I benefit personally from the experience? Look at this picture here that's on this slide. This picture means a lot to me. This is how I benefited personally from the experience. This picture is a picture of the room where the women's support group meets each Thursday. I attended this support group almost every week of my internship. It was an eye-opening experience, and it was very, very devastating to hear these women's stories. But this is the room where we sat, and tears were shed, and experiences were shared. And I benefited from the people who came in and needed help. I benefited from their stories, from their experiences, from lessons they learned. I can't even begin to express how deeply they've been hurt and how deeply they need our help. And I was so glad that I could be there to try to help them in any way I could, even if it was just a kind word or a smile. I also benefited from seeing the families who came in needing food. It made me realize that I am so blessed. I am so blessed to be a member of the church. I am so blessed to have a husband who treats me well, who is kind and respectful. I'm also blessed to know that there are people out there who need my help, and that I can stand up and be an advocate for them and to help them in any way I can. And that's something that we all can do. We all can be part of our communities and serve them, because this isn't just in Rexburg. This is all over the world. This is happening. Domestic violence is happening all over the world, and the only way that it's going to stop is if we are aware of it and if we can help the people who are victims. Would I recommend this site and experience to other students? Yes and no. I would only recommend it to students who are hardworking, who are going to put themselves out there, and who are going to be strong, and who have a heart for people who are victims of domestic violence. Those students who have that kind of personality and that kind of work ethic and that kind of stamina, those are the students who are going to benefit from this experience, because it is not easy. You hear stories and you see people who are struggling. You hear of their experiences, and it's hard. It really is hard to hear what they have to go through day after day after day. And although it is a great experience to be able to help them, it is draining, because you want to do all you can for them, but they have to make their own choices in the end. And that's hard sometimes, because we just want to step in and fix it for them, but that's not how it happens. They have to fix it for themselves. And I also would recommend it to students who are kind and compassionate and who can think outside the box, who can think of other ways to help and to serve and to do different things in the community, who can say, you know what, let's not do it that way anymore. It's not really effective, or that's a great idea. Let's keep doing it that way. I would also recommend it to students who are going into marriage and family, child development, health and nutrition, because a lot of what we do in the Family Crisis Center has to do with the food bank and food and providing that need for families. Because if those basic needs aren't met, then everything else falls out of place. If you also look at this picture here, this is a picture of the thrift store. All those clothes have been donated from people. So that is my internship experience. It really has been a great experience for me, and I truly have been blessed knowing these families and what they go through, and I will be forever blessed in my own family to know that I can stand up for myself and we can help in the community.